listening to the Foul Hooked Podcast.
Oh, I know, this is a new setup. We're not filming on my cell phone, we're filming on a webcam. But there's a good reason for that, and it has to do with that intro that you just saw. So, here's a little update on what I'm thinking as far as content goes. I know I mentioned this in a video a couple weeks / a month ago that I'm going to be starting a podcast. There it is. There's the intro. Hopefully you like that. And with that being said, without further ado, we announce the Foul Hooked Fishing Podcast brought to you by Cove Anglers Club. And I'm really excited to get this going, get this conversation started with all of these people that I'm dreaming of talking to, especially with my co-host, who I'll talk about in a few minutes, and kind of see where this goes. Develop the conversation further into the things that I want to learn about, the things that I want you to hear about, the things that I'm interested in, things that I find amusing or funny, and present that to you in a new way, not just on video, but in a podcast. And this podcast is going to be available on, most major streaming platforms, as well as I'm going to try and do the video part for YouTube, and create a channel for that and do the whole mumbo jumbo. We're going to try and get, maybe a bi-weekly or a monthly episode out. And like I said, guests are perfectly welcome. We want guests. We want people to come tell us their stories about fishing. We're going to share our stories about fishing, what we like, what we don't like, what we're interested in. The professional circuits, the kayak circuits, anything fishing related. Nothing is off the table when it comes to what we're talking about. So we'll talk about saltwater fishing. We'll talk about techniques that we've never heard of, and hopefully with people that can teach us about them. We'll talk about bass fishing, of course, because that's where me and the co-host passion started. We'll talk about our roots in southeastern Pennsylvania and what we have learned and how we've grown as anglers because of the area we lived in or we grew up in. And, nothing is really off the table. And I'm really excited to share these stories or share our guests and share some of this knowledge with whoever really wants to listen to it. And I'm hoping people listen to it on the way to the water, on the way home from the water, on tournament morning, when they're just trying to clear their headspace. Maybe get a good laugh out of whatever topic we're talking about that day, because I want this to be fun. I want it to be, low pressure. I want our guests to feel comfortable. I want people to listen and enjoy what we're talking about. And I think I'm very capable of that. And I know our co-host is capable of that too. So, without further ado, let me introduce the co-host. He's not going to be on here today, but, he's one of my best fishing friends. I've learned a lot from this guy when it comes to bass fishing and understanding, the way presentations are supposed to look, the way, even like little things like your line diameter makes a difference in certain techniques, when, especially like crankbaits, like if you want to get super ultra specific, he's the brain I would pick. And it's, Garrett Ginsley. Garrett grew up in southeastern Pennsylvania, fishing stock trout, fishing bass, panfish, all sorts of stuff. Then fell in love with bass fishing, and that's how we met. We met fishing a local kayak trail in 2015 or 2016, so we've known each other for quite some time. Unfortunately, he doesn't live in Pennsylvania anymore, but he lives in North Carolina. So his experience down there is quite different than the bass fishing he experienced up here. So he's got some knowledge of both areas, as well as technique-specific stuff that works better here in Pennsylvania, works better down there in North Carolina. I mean, he's got some really good stories. I know he put up like 105 inches in 2 hours on Sheeran Harris, one of his first trips out there. So the guy knows what he's doing. Really excited to really pick his brain at times and have him come up with questions for our guests. So just excited to share the screen / microphone, whatever you want to call it, with Garrett, because he's a wealth of knowledge when it comes to fishing. He's also a wealth of knowledge when it comes to just life in general. So he'll definitely have some good life tips too. So yeah, that's a really exciting thing. The last thing I want to talk about is our presenting sponsor. So our presenting sponsor, Cove Anglers Club, is a clothing brand started in, the suburbs of Philly, right on the Delaware River, kind of that area. And it's kind of a brand that is boutique-y, chic, this pop shop kind of culture where they do monthly drops, or they do, quick hit of whatever's trending that month in the fishing world. So as you can see, I'm wearing one of their shirts right now. This is a pike shirt. They're not focused to just bass necessarily. Is that their first notion? Bass fishermen, bass anglers? Yeah. They're kind of in this realm of swim bait anglers, like this, what do they call them? I don't know, like this sneakerhead universe. That's bad comparison, but they're trying to achieve something in their clothing brand that other fishing brands haven't, and they make some really cool designs. They make some really comfy clothes, as well as hats, fishing tackle bags, and some other things too. So be on the lookout for more from them. They're kind of redeveloping themselves a little bit and trying to rework some of their designs and push it out there a little bit bigger than they have been. So I'm really happy that they're on board, and I'm really happy that I get to push their message and their brand as well. So really excited about Cove Anglers Club being on board with whatever this is. The whatever content comes out of here, they support it. They support me. A lot of the stuff I bought with my own dollars, and that's how much I like it. And I'll continue to buy with my own dollars. I don't care what they give us. These guys need to just start blowing up because their stuff is that good. And I'll probably wear my entire Cove collection on all these podcasts. So, because that's literally all I wear anymore. Between AFCO sun hoodies and Cove t-shirts, I don't think my wardrobe really exists outside of that anymore. So, really excited to have them on. And I'm really excited about the Foul Hooked Fishing Podcast. So, like I said before, nothing is off the tables here. So if you guys have topics, questions, guests, ideas, theories, funny stories that you want to hear, share, anything you want, drop in the comments below. DM me on Instagram at YakfishChris. My DMs are open. No eggplant pics, please. But they are open. And like I said, I'm excited to share all of my knowledge, all of our guests' knowledge, and any stories that I can with the people that want to listen. I'm really excited to kick this thing off and get it going. Be on the lookout for the first real episode, probably in the next week or two. And then we'll start to get into a regular rhythm of this. Thanks for stopping by, checking out the update, watching me, listening me. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore, but really excited to kick this thing off. So anyways, subscribe, like, comment. I'll, when the first episode the first real episode full drops, you'll see it on my Instagram. You'll see it on a YouTube channel, and then we'll link it to everywhere it exists. Really appreciate all the support I've had so far, and hopefully the continued support and the new support that I get because of this. Thank you, and be on the lookout for the first episode of the Foul Hooked Podcast.
You're listening to the Foul Hooked Podcast.